G'day trendsetters, I'm John with Gravel Cyclist and I'm coming to you today with a Wheelset review. If the brand name there on the box isn't obvious, this is by WTB Wilderness Trail Bikes. They've been around the cycling landscape for eons. They produce everything from saddles to tyres to wheel sets. Inside this box is WTB's top tier flagship offering for the gravelly roads less travelled, the CZR i23 Carbon, or as I would say in my lingo, the CZR i23 Carbon. Before I continue banging on, let's get them out of the box so you can have a look at them. Voila, wheels unboxed, the WTB CZR i23. These wheels are designed to be lightweight with a blend of stiffness and, dare I say it, the most overused word in the world of cycling, compliance. The rims are low profile at 24mm deep, which translates really nicely into mixed conditions. And I'm talking about not just road conditions, but wind conditions. So hopefully I won't be blind about the place when I ride these wheels. So now it's time to cover the tech specs. Here is the front wheel, and it's available in 24 spokes, like in this variant. There's also a 28 spoke variant available. The spokes are the pillar wing variety, meaning they have a wing-like structure with a trailing edge, so you get a little bit of a perceived aerodynamic advantage. And this is interesting here. First of all, they were hand built by hands. G'day hands if you're watching. And note the ride with confidence guarantee from WTB, which basically covers warranty, replacement, and so on. Now, as you can see, it's a center lock hub interface, and this is a 12mm end cap. And keeping the weight low are nipples by SAPIM. These are SAPIM aluminium nipples. The spoke beds of this carbon rim is reinforced. You might be able to see it in this shot, or also overlay a nice little detail close up. But that obviously encourages strength and durability, which is something you really want on a wheel set designed for going crazy on your local or not so local gravel road. Something different on this wheel set that sets it apart from others I've seen on the market is the nylon strip that resides beneath this layer of tubeless tape. Basically, it pops it up a little bit, so to speak, and helps to make a better seal, and hopefully, during the inflation process, makes my life easier getting the tire to pop onto the rim. And I need to mention, these are a hooked design, so that's quite a good feature for a lot of riders. And as you can see, it's a pretty plain looking wheel set. There's no crazy stickers. It's a bit hard to see in this shot possibly, but you can see the branding there, WTB CZR i23 700C. And here be the rear wheel. Oh, hello, this is interesting. This rear wheel was built by Jeb. G'day Jeb if you're watching. So you've got 24 spokes on this wheel, and if you like you can also purchase it with 28 spokes. The free hub body on this particular example is by SRAM. It's for the XDR platform, and Shimano is available as well. There are 6 poles inside this cassette body, so what that translates to is 5 degrees of movement before you get drive motion, so that's pretty tasty. That also lends me to demonstrate the free hub sound, which I know a lot of you folks are hanging to hear, so let's get that knocked out. I also need to mention the rim is asymmetric, so you've got a little 3mm offset. Hopefully you might see it in this perspective, or I'll overlay a photograph. So that generally lends to excellent strength, durability, and so on, which again, as I mentioned earlier, you really want to see in a wheel set designed for the gravelly roads less travelled. Center lock interface, my absolute favourite for mounting rotors. Now it's time to slap these beauties onto the gram scale. Rear wheel, 774.5 grams. That includes the rim strip and a valve. Front wheel, again including the rim strip and valve, 623 grams. And if I throw the rear wheel on top, balanced precariously, Look at that, we get the total wheel weight. How nice. 1,000, let me move that, whoops. 1,397 grams. 0.5 grams, close enough. All right, folks, you have to be careful handling these spokes. Look at this, sliced me bloody finger open, bleeding profusely. Not really, but it's a hazardous job around here, Gravel Cyclist headquarters. Now it's time to measure these rims with my very handy calipers. There you go, outside rim measurement, 28.4 millimeters. Let's measure the rim depth next. 24.5, that's close enough. And there we have the inside rim measurement. Hopefully it's in focus, 23.14 millimeters. Now it's time to mount up some tubeless tyres onto these wheels. Bontrager TLR flash charger pump version 2 with the handy digital gauge. Secondary cylinder, preloaded at 155 PSI. I'm doing something different. I'm keeping the valve core in for this inflation. I expect this tyre will mount nicely. It's a dry mount, no sealant inside. So let's get cracking here. This is the Radial tyre. Snapped on. Let's pull the lever here. It's almost in the bead. As I watch out a camera shot, is about to pop itself in. Needs a few more PSI of pressure. There we go. You heard the final pop. Beautifully into the rim. Next I just have to add sealant. Now it's the turn of the Volpine tyre. Similar air pressure in the secondary cylinder. Valve core intact. There we go. It's almost in the bead. Oh, perfect. In the bead the entire way around. Bob's your uncle. Now it's time to add some sealant. Rotor's cassette. So that's the tech specs, weights and tyre mounting procedures covered for the WTB CZR i23. Let's find out now how they ride. Tipping the scales at sub 1400 grams. These aren't the lightest wheels going, but factor in their excellent build quality, jade band spokes, regular nipples, ease of serviceability, along with an excellent 2-year warranty plus lifetime warranty on the rims themselves, and at about US $1,600 for the pair, the CZR i23s represent a very good value. If you had asked me 10 years ago that we would be seeing sub 1400 gram wheel sets for this type of a cycling, I'd say no bloody way, but here we are in 2022. If you desire additional performance from any sort of bicycle, wheels are the starting point. Just shy of 1400 grams is still very light, despite having a low spoke count. The wheels have firstly held up straight and true as the bitumen road across the Nullarbor Plain in Western Australia, which is bloody straight, while still responding nicely to acceleration efforts in or out of the saddle, as well as quick engagement from the rear hub. I used to think all of those engagement points were overkill, but if you take your gravel bike into borderline MTB zones, you'll appreciate that engagement when you have to finesse the bike up and over dodgy terrain, gardens of rocks, and so on. Knock them about through corners, you'll appreciate their lighter weight accelerating away and maintaining that speed you've built up. Highlighting the solid construction of these wheels, I cannot feel them whipping about the place beneath my 160-ish pound body weight. And this was despite pounding them on a super rough 140-mile ride I knocked out during the review period. I was beat to whereas the CZR i23s not so much. For such a low spoke count, these wheels feel plenty stiff, but the 28 spoke count variants may be better suited to bigger riders or for those who have this serious wattage output. Incidentally, these wheels have a rider weight limit of 265 pounds or 120 kilograms. Remember, proper tyre pressure makes the biggest difference in ride quality on a gravel bike, so don't go jacking your tyres up to 60 PSI. In fact, I have a handy recommended PSI chart linked in the description below. The relatively shallow rim depth of this wheelset is fabulous for riding in all road conditions, and let's not kid ourselves here, just about any aero advantage that you hear manufacturers talking about with gravel tyres is complete and utter bull. Those wider tyres are like sails and overhang the sides of the rims considerably, but these wheels do ride superbly in crosswinds. Now, if you desire to get sort of aero riding these wheels, they make for a really capable all-road setup, meaning you could slap on some 28 or 32mm slick roadie tyres and have a blast using the WTB CZR i23 as an all-rounder wheel set. Negatives? Well, none really. My only gripe is I wish WTB offered these wheels with white decals because they stand out from the crowd of blacked out wheels. Just a personal preference. Some people will definitely squawk about the price. $1,600 isn't cheap, but remind yourself about what you're getting here, especially that warranty. Positives: dependability, excellent performance, no bull construction with non-rocket science parts, fab warranty, choices of spoke count, and I love the personal touches such as who built these wheels. Cool stuff coming from a brand name such as WTB. So there you have it, my review of the WTB Wilderness Trail Bikes CZR or CZR i23 carbon wheel set. I realise nowadays there's an absolute bloody cornucopia, plethora, smorgasbord, whatever you want to call it, of wheel sets available for your gravel bike. So I sincerely hope that my review went some way into helping you make an informed purchase decision. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel for product reviews such as this. No bullshit gravel bike reviews, ride experience videos, and other general madness as all that is released to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.